woo-woo science lover. All the magic is the same thing. Hello and welcome to the. Why is it not going now?
I don't know. Maybe it's
going.
just. Maybe it is going.
Oh, it is.
Soft.
Okay.
I think you're just soft.
It is. I'm sorry.
That means I'm loud.
I'll be louder too. Thank you for the inspiration. Hello and welcome to the All Humans Are Human podcast, season 5. Welcome to the 10th episode in the Charge C series. I am so excited to be doing an episode at least 2 years in the making with Reid O of Makawawi, Hawaiian chili pepper water, and way more. We're going to get into all the things. Thank you for letting us record here, showing your plans, all the things.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for your patience.
It's been quite the reschedule, but we got it done.
We're doing it now. Yeah. You want to start with talking about, do we start with this particular plant that we're sitting by just for fun?
So at the beginning of 2020, during the pandemic, I had a lot of free time. So I started gardening and growing a lot of peppers. So I had Hawaiian chili, habanero, ghost peppers, Carolina Reapers, and a whole bunch of others. But I had the Hawaiian chili plants parked right next to the habanero plants. And a couple months later, this one popped up, and I didn't know what it was, so I just grew it. And I think it's an actual crossbreed between a Hawaiian chili and a habanero. It just happened in my yard. And if I'm wrong and you know what this really is, and a bird actually just laid it in my garden, then let her know so she can let me know what it is. If not, I take claim to this pepper right here.
They're so teeny. They're cute.
Yeah.
They're really little. And the little flowers are cute too.
Yeah, so it's more ornamental than anything because the birds just come. You can see all the stems, but the birds just happen to love these little peppers.
Before you can get to them?
Yeah, so I just think of it as bird food.
You're giving back. You're keeping the whole circle going.
In fact, there's a funny story. When I started growing, I used to try to keep the birds and chickens away from my other peppers. Well, after a while, I realized that everything I tried to do between fencing and putting these crazy pan plates up here to spin in the wind, none of it worked because nature finds a way. But I just decided that I'm going to give them back whatever they need first, and I'll keep the leftovers. So that's been peaceful.
There's so many metaphors in there, I feel like.
Yeah,
a lot of metaphors in there about not fighting it, but giving something to the... So interesting. That makes me think too of a Jewish agriculture law of cutting off the corners to share rather than just buying people off.
I was just reading Ruth, not Ruth. You know, in the Bible?
No.
Well, anyway, I was reading something about the leaving the borders for, people that are passing by.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
The treat people how you want to be treated, golden rule that everybody agrees on.
Yeah.
So how did you start the chili pepper water? When did you first grow a Hawaiian chili pepper?
So I grew my first crops here probably in like 2003. It was 2003. And it was basically just because I had when I was married before, I had a stepdaughter. And it was such a funny story. I thought, okay, if I plant these chili peppers outside of her bedroom while she's a little kid, by the time she's old enough for boys to be interested, the peppers will be big enough to guard her window, kind of like a moat to a castle.
That was the start, was protection for her?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
And it was only her room.
That's so cute.
I had a stepson too. I didn't put anything by his window because my worry with him was him leaving the house, not somebody coming in. But obviously, then it turned into these huge bushes, and I didn't know what to do with all the peppers. So I just started picking them and putting them in Ziploc bags and throwing them in the freezer. And back then, it was probably 2004 one day, I was talking to my son's mom, and I was watering the peppers, and she said, "What are you going to do with all those peppers?" And just jokingly, I said, "Oh, maybe we should start making chili pepper water." And that's where the name Makawawi came up as a joke. We were talking about Makawao, and Maui's known for Maui Waui. And when you taste the chili pepper, it's hot, so you say wow. So we thought maka, wow, and combine the three things into one, and never talked about it. And then years later, my daughter, now who was an adult, wanted to drop off some food, and she said, "Can you put it in your freezer?" I told her, "I don't have any room in my freezer." She goes, "Dad, come on, you always have room in your freezer." So I said, "Okay." I looked in there for the first time in years, and I found those 3 huge bags of chili peppers just frozen. So this might be maybe 8 years after I started growing them.
Oh, well.
And just no reason at all, they were just in my freezer. So I called my dad on the Big Island, and I asked him if he had any recipe for chili pepper water. So he gave me his traditional recipe, and I made it, and I kept it in the fridge in this huge bottle. And me and my son used it from time to time, but it wasn't a thing. And during the pandemic, when I had all that free time, I started growing more peppers and more peppers and more peppers. And then I started an Instagram page, in fact, May 2020. So this makes 5 years.
Congratulations.
Kind of cool, the timing of this.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. I'm glad the podcast didn't take 5 years, but because we'd be in the future. But at least this, 5 years later, and so we thought, why don't we make a business out of it? And we launched the official business in August of 2020.
Okay.
Got the G license, the commercial kitchen, all the fun stuff. And then we launched our first retail store in January 2021 at Pook Soup.
Very cool. Also a quick turnaround just from May and then starting and
Yeah,
getting all
because the
things
Instagram
done.
went viral because the business I supported prior to the pandemic was a gym chain. So, you put news out there, and, unfortunately we had to close because of the pandemic and the economy. So I posted that on the gym page and then my personal social media page, and that went viral. So like a couple of the news stations contacted me. We did interviews here.
So cool.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I'm like a real private
Very
homebody. So for me to be talking to you is like me talking to you, but I don't realize that there's people that might be watching out there.
I'm honored. Thank you.
No, I'm honored too. This is cool. So anyway, it got to the point where the people started requesting, and I'd be just doing this work. People would drive to my house to pick up. And then of course somebody says, "Oh, why don't you go to the store and see if you can sell?" And then the officialness begins, right? You gotta get the licenses, permits, pay your taxes, da-da-da-da-da. But it evolved into something now where if I wanted to grow bigger, I can duplicate it. I know how to make it run. I know it's working. It's just now, am I gonna make it bigger? Or just leave it alone?
Just figuring out what you want.
Yeah.
What you want to do with it.
But, I figured through learning, no matter how much I put into it, I can't make this plant grow faster.
Like you were saying about nature's gonna nature.
So I like things that organically happen, and this organically happened from protecting my daughter's interests in the front of the house some 20 years ago maybe.
That's such a wholesome start. I love that.
Maliciously wholesome, right? Like, thinking chili peppers would burn the boys. They could touch the pepper bush, touch the house, try to sneak into the room and burn their eyes or whatever, burn their hands.
You're not doing long-term,
No,
it wasn't long-term
it's
harm
a
to them.
deterrent.
Exactly.
Like these bird things that never worked,
And they could even pick some and take them. Maybe
They
you were
could.
being hospitable.
They
One could say you were being really generous.
Yeah.
So
That was the pebble in the pond to this ripple we're talking about right now.
it's such a cool, slow and steady, very
Organic.
very genuinely organic. That
Yeah.
word used to piss me off when it had like its peak and people used it all the time, which was a shame because it is a great word for the
Yeah.
genuine,
Yeah.
same as like a plant.
I use it in the way that I interpreted it, which is naturally, unaltered by man, so to speak.
Just letting nature run its course.
Yeah. Organically.
Organically. This fits in a very, to me, in the spiritual, almost getting right into free will or determinism of, we talked about wherever you go, there you are,
Yeah.
and it's always about your own nature and your own things, that you're just following your interest, wanting to protect someone, wanting to you were wanting to take care of your daughter, you were wanting to take care of yourself, you were wanting to do something with a bunch of chili peppers in your freezer. Just following natural steps.
Because I could have easily thrown them away.
Like, I don't need to do anything with it.
They've been frozen for 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years is crazy.
I think it was 8 years. Yeah.
That's...
I'm just trying to remember the kids' ages because my baby is now 21.
Very sweet.
That poor kid. He was my taste tester for everything I made. And I got to give him credit on a lot of this because...
Shout out to him, yeah.
Yeah, his name's Jordan. He's in the Navy in Spain.
Thank you, Jordan, for helping.
Serving the country.
Well, it's cool that both kids helped in their own ways then.
Yeah. They all did. Everybody had a part in this. There's too many people to mention, you know. It is a podcast, not a mini-series, right?
You're not like giving an acceptance speech of like thanking all of the...
I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Very cute. Very wholesome. You can taste it, I think, especially with food things.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were saying with gyms and the overlap between gym people and nutrition people, that you can feel and taste when something is local and organic and natural and made with love and care and consideration and all of those things that are now science catching up to prove that it does actually change it.
Like we were talking about the water, the memory of water. Remember the other day?
Yes.
And we kind of dipped in a little bit about, like, I have to create or craft when I'm in a mood to craft. That way it's not analytic or forced, because the memory of water will remember what vibrations I put into the product.
If you're rushing and anxious
this is such an interesting part of what I do. Nobody delivers for me, nobody makes anything for me, nobody stops for me. I go to the store, and when I check my inventory, I rotate it, but I shake the bottles. I shake the bottles to say hello.
To each of the water?
Yeah, so when I go to the store, I go up, because it'll settle, right? You have like a thick garlic and chili pepper layer. And I go to the shelf, and I just shake the bottles, and I face them. And it's my time with the water, you know?
I love that. Just like time with the plants. And
and this is mostly water. We're mostly water, right? So
I have "This Is Water" tattooed on me.
Yeah.
This is right up my alley. Yeah, the David
I'm a
Foster.
Pisces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we're just getting to talk about astrology now. That explains so much. And that explains your skill at fish swimming along with the current and following the flow of life to then... And now you have this bottle, this one different one connected to one store, and then these ones that you getting to just naturally have stuff evolve.
Yeah. So a lot of the retail stores will have the stock labels.
Okay.
But once in a while I'll go, like, my friend Darren owns Alive and Well, and we craft this specialty one for him in his store. So it's unique, but it caters to the unique people that visit his little business down there in Kahului.
Gluten-free, sugar-free kind of
patrons. So it's the organic apple cider vinegar base. It's water, good water. My chili peppers. Only my peppers go into this stuff. Garlic and a little bit of lime, and so it's more to bring out the flavor of whatever you're gonna put it on, instead of creating a hot sauce to flavor your food.
And
if that makes any sense. Yeah, so you want to bring out the best instead of showing me what you can do and make it hot and taste the way you want it. It'll taste whatever you made and make it better.
Do you think that's part of, we can go into a whole thing of flavor and spicy food. I always love the fun fact that it's just pain. Like, it's not a flavor, it's pain.
And it's not really pain at all.
What is it?
It's the sensation of pain, because what's
the difference?
Come to know.
What does that mean?
So, like, if the stove is hot and I touch it, I can physically get hurt, and my nervous system tells me that's hot, and I feel pain, right? So, warning, don't do it again. The capsaicin molecule, and this is just what I've learned. Don't quote me. So if you're smarter than me, again, give her comments.
You're smarter about this for sure.
It basically, the capsaicin molecule aligns with the way the nervous system of the human body, or mostly mammals, works. So we feel a sensation of pain and heat, but you're really not under any attack at all. It's just the way capsaicin works. So what it does is, the positive thing is it helps to relieve pain in nerve endings. Studies have also shown that it can help with inflammation. So a lot of the cause of pain is inflammation. So why not use capsaicin to alleviate pain and inflammation
So
by
cool.
putting yourself through a little bit of pain, right?
A lot of metaphor in there too.
Yeah.
I get the difference then of if you touch a stove, you could blister your hand.
Yeah.
Whereas if I ate a spicy pepper that made me do a ridiculous face, it's not gonna blister my tongue.
That's what I've come to learn. It's not a physical reality. It's more of a nervous system reaction, which also releases endorphins, which is your body's natural pain reliever. So
cool.
There's a lot of people on. You can look it on YouTube or social media or whatever, but they swear about eating hot peppers as back pain relief and all this kind of stuff. So there's a whole thing during the pandemic I learned. I mean, there's it's almost like a cult following of these spice people, and they're just everywhere around the world. And we got to be like friends on social media, and we would send each other stuff, and it was just such this worldwide community. And here I am, just a little guy up in Makawao that does these little things because of a plant that was protecting my daughter,
I love that. This is also my favorite part of social media is the global connection of niche little communities where then if there's the whole spice community, then there's the Hawaiian chili pepper community, and you get to connect with people you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's also, I wonder too, I'm pretty sure capsaicin is one of the things that like pharmaceutical painkillers are based on.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's ginger and turmeric, and I think
doubt it.
capsaicin and probably a couple other things too. But
It's just ironic you bring up ginger and turmeric because we have ginger and turmeric growing behind us somewhere. And
we have some right here.
This is actually one of our, it actually has become the most popular product. This used to be the regular Hawaiian chili pepper water until this thing started catching on.
This one you started making after.
So this one we crafted in August of 2020,
And
right
this one?
after we got the kitchen and stuff. And it was actually, I saw my bookkeeper's social media post about, she had just caught COVID. Her family and her just caught COVID. And so she posted this remedy she was making and taking called a firecracker shot. So I messaged her privately. I said, "Hey, what is that?" And she goes, "Oh, it's like da 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 the recipe." And I said, "Oh, and you feel it helps you with the symptoms of COVID?" She goes, "Yeah, it's good." So I said, "Can I use your recipe and the name?" And she agreed. I mean, she's my bookkeeper. I pay her more than I make because you're awesome. But the
Thank
firecracker,
you for recipe and service.
yeah, Rovi Vanta Priority Bookkeeping Services LLC.
I could put their link in the.
Yeah, you could. She's gonna hate me but love me at the same time. So the shots actually we launched at Alive and Well, which is, thank you, Darren Jones, and we do between 80 to 120 shots a week. Every week.
That's a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And you make them. You make all of them.
I do everything, yeah.
What's
Because
the
it's a
process
love thing that I just don't know if I want to grow or I'm trusting somebody else with it.
It changes the structure of the water and the whole.
Yeah.
Then it's someone else wherever you go. There you are
Yeah.
into the.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to be like quote unquote Tabasco. In the beginning I wanted to. When I was starting out, I was like, well, I want to be the Tabasco of the Hawaiian chili pepper world. I wanted this thing to go global and be known as the condiment you find on everybody's table at home or at a restaurant, right? I believe we could do that if we wanted to.
I believe so too. What changed? And you said you used to want that.
Because I realized the gifts I had received in creating this product line, and that the reason I started wasn't to make money and to turn it into a business opportunity of profit. It could just be a season I'm in where I'm really happy with what I'm doing and the amount of money I make and the way I get to live. I don't need more, I don't want more, but it's there if say my son comes back from the Navy and he's like, hey Dad, I want to run your business. Go get it. Here's the recipe. Here's the business model. Multiply it by 100 and go retire.
Following the natural flow again, where like you're not feeling that impulse.
It's like a riverbed that's already there. All I gotta do is rain more and it'll produce more. If it doesn't want to, it'll just be a little gentle stream meandering through my yard, you know?
Yes, and it's a nice peace of mind too to know that you get to choose what size you want it. And it's real, and it's, I relate to that a lot about figuring the balance between we need money for life and existing. Check. And like to keep going and to do things, and also when money becomes people's first priority, shit gets screwy every time.
Totally.
And so how to balance, money is for sure on the priority list because we live in a world that money is how we get things, and also keeping the priority of this whole story you're saying of helping your daughter, helping your friend who needed a specific gluten-free one, helping your friend who got COVID and keeping that at the forefront. And to me, that's why it could get so big, is that keeps the priority.
Yeah. It's like this plant. If it stays in this pot, this is about as big as it's going to get. But if I put it into the earth, it could become as big as it could become
A whole bush, and the peppers.
I'm sure it'll be at least 2, 3, 4 feet tall if it wanted to.
Maybe you're setting up for the next evolution of makuawi, that then you have the pepper that you made. Maybe.
We couldn't put it on this table right here to talk about it.
We couldn't.
We'd have to be in the yard.
But maybe if we podcast again in like 5 years, this is like.
We'll be under the shade of, that one. No, I don't think it'll be that big.
I have no idea. That would be, maybe sitting on the ground under it.
Could be.
Kind of hide in there.
Or I could be up here and you could be in that branch. You could just be sitting in the tree.
It's just a whole huge tree.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
So you want to take a shot?
Yes, perfect timing. Okay. So how do you make, you don't have to share the whole recipe here.
So it's citrus based. And everything has been pre-measured per shot, which is about an ounce of liquid. So in each shot, you're gonna get a serving. Well, there's no real serving size for like orange juice, grapefruit juice, and lemon juice. That's what you're gonna get, the citrus. You get a little bit of honey, apple cider vinegar. Definitely gonna feel the Hawaiian chili pepper, but ginger and turmeric. And to help accentuate the benefit of turmeric, you're gonna get the black pepper in there too. So a lot of trial and error in the beginning because I'm kind of spicy. I put too much heat. So I had a chef taste it and he goes, oh, nobody's gonna want this, it's too hot. So we doctored it down.
Some regular spice tolerance?
Maybe a little bit more than regular. Depends on the mood my pepper plants are in, Like depends on the ginger crop I get. Like if you use older ginger, it tends to be a little more spicy than younger ginger.
Oh, interesting.
Or where I get my turmeric from.
Does the age change? Or what does that do?
I believe it gets more potent with the turmeric the longer you keep it. Same thing with the ginger. Yeah. Like if you have the fresh ginger that's, the top just falls off or the flowers just come off, it's still kind of younger, fresher. Those are just the good ones to use. But once they like stay in the ground for too long, they get really stringy.
It's gonna kick your ass, like juiced in.
Yeah.
I'm a spice baby, but ginger and turmeric I can
let's
do.
go. So you got the X cup, I got the O cup.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yum.
You feel that little heat coming up the back?
Yeah. Ooh, and with the, oh, that's cool. And like distinctly feel that
little
apple.
turmeric or something
Thank
right
you.
there. There you go.
I can feel the apple cider vinegar, like the vinegar tickle, plus but the vinegar and the honey helps the chili pepper really smooth.
So if you think about a few things.
That was so good.
The honey is a cough suppressant, right? That's why that's in there. It's not so much for the sweetness. It's for the cough suppressant benefit. Turmeric, obviously, for the anti-inflammatory benefit. A lot of these things have immune support, and that was the general idea was I took her recipe and I added a few more things based on a couple pages of research on that wonderful thing called the internet. And over time it became this. And I guess people are into it because to do 180 to 120 a week. So I'm batching every 2 days, every couple of days, because I also have people that were buying through my Instagram that found out about this and they want to buy through my Instagram. Yeah, and I don't really sell it because what I don't want to do is take away from the traffic of the stores that they're in.
Okay.
So you have to have been like my family or one of my neighbors or somebody who was purchasing from me before. Which there's a lot of people that were purchasing from, so they're out there, they find me, I can't say no. But I don't, like, people come up to me at the store and they, why don't you sell me the big bottles? I'm like, because you'll never come back. Because it's like a condiment. You don't drink it as a juice every day. So once you take it, if it's not a routine, it goes into your fridge and Auntie will come over and put the ketchup in front of it, and all of a sudden tomorrow you're not taking your shot. 3 weeks later, you're like, what is that back there? And you pull this bottle out, and because this is a natural product, you want to use it within 24 to 48 hours when it comes out of the root or the peel. Mm-hmm. That's my belief anyway. For efficacy, I think the word is. It's like a swear word, you know?
It does feel like a swear word.
I think
totally
that is
the right word.
Totally
I've heard that
potency.
about, yes, that word
Potency and efficacy, but
I've heard that it's more for all juicing.
That's one of the reasons we don't do it in big quantities like this.
Okay.
Because people won't ritualistically do a bottle a week. And that's how you're supposed to do it as a person.
A bottle would be a shot a day?
Yeah, so this is like a 1 ounce shot, right?
I take a shot a day.
12 ounces. So if you do I do 2 shots a day, one in the morning, one at night.
And that's why all your health is good? Do you think that's a big
Well, that and the lifestyle I've allowed myself to move into is less corporate and more free, I guess is a good contrast. But growing, I'm from Hilo, and I'm used to having like a real homebody lifestyle where when I go to vacation, I go to Hilo from Maui.
I love Hilo.
From this chill life, I go to Hilo to chill out.
Even
what
slower
I mean?
than here.
Yeah.
I love it.
So when I come back here, I'm like, let's get back to the city of Maka. Wow.
It's raging.
Oh, it is. You see how much my trees move? It just freaks me out.
It's crazy. And the bird sounds.
They're so loud.
So loud.
Get up
Hilo's got the Kokies. They're pretty loud.
You know what? And it's so funny because
Koki?
when they first came out, my dad picked me up at the airport and he goes, hey, I'm going to take you on a little excursion. So we drove from the airport in Hilo to Kilkaha, and then he took me up to the evacuation route. So, if you have a tidal wave, they have roads in the forest that take you away from the tidal wave. He rolled down the windows and he said, okay, be quiet and listen. And you just heard these chirping like birds in the night. And this is like in the Ohia forests. And I'm like, well, what is that noise? He goes, those are frogs. And this was I think it was in the early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. And then they just started spreading from Kilkaha. Now they live way up in Kaumana. They're up there, but to be honest, when I go to Hilo now, if it ain't raining and I don't hear koki frogs, I can't sleep.
It's real.
So funny how that worked out.
But then you get used to it and accustomed to the koki.
Yeah, so Hilo was always rain, mosquitoes, and rain and mosquitoes. Now there was rain, mosquitoes, and koki frogs.
It's amazing.
And because
or
there
maybe
was
not fully on that. I like the sounds too, but
there was a period of drought in Hilo, right? So the koki frogs disappeared for a while. So I'd go back home and I'd be like, something's missing.
No koki sound?
None. And when they first came out, they were raging. Like, they'd be sitting on this plant looking at you like, what are you going to do? Right? But now they're like birds. They're fewer and further in between, but you appreciate them when they do chirp.
Nature running its course.
And when it rains in Hilo.
I love the rain there. And here.
Yeah. That's why I live here. It used to be rainy. When I moved up here, it was a lot more rainy.
But now not as much?
I could be wrong again, but I think it has a lot to do with the sugarcane being gone, because they were importing water to irrigate the sugarcane. When you import water to a place that wasn't wet, and it evaporates, I believe you create a little microclimate.
I could be wrong.
Whoa.
Okay.
I would believe that.
So
that
you
could
cut
change
all the
microclimate.
sugar cane and acres now. We're not talking about one field or two. We're talking about all the sugar cane gone at the same time. Maui started drying up again.
The whole ecosystem
It's a
was
valley,
really-
right? It's a valley. It's windy. It's arid. It's sunny. It's hot. Now it's not a rainy, so it's creating this perpetually drier climate every year, and we had all those fires. There was a period of maybe 5 years that there was a lot of little boom here and there, and whether they were started by somebody or nature, just the fact that you can light a fire that easily, it was dry.
And then it had so many other compounding impacts on all of
Yeah.
it. That shows how connected all of the.
And how it goes back to water.
Bringing us back.
Right?
Look at you. You were saying that you get off into tangents, but you brought us back.
It's like
to...
golf. This is why I love golf. You can
Okay.
hit the ball, but as long as you find it, you're still good.
Ooh. And that's like the wherever you go, there you are. As long
Yeah.
as you find yourself and
Yep.
you figure out.
I mean, you put yourself there. I want to appreciate where you put yourself, consciously or unconsciously.
Ooh, like not it kind of getting away from does it even matter if it was free will or determinism and
So, relating golf to life, it's like now, say I hit it into the sand, it's my way of saying I need to practice this type of shot because I don't very often go into the sand, which means I'm not very good at it,
yeah.
right? So, like I played with a good guy today and he had a hard time coming out of the sand bunker. Right? So, well, because I'm never in the bunkers. I say, well, it's your time to practice, right?
Which changes the whole thing, and that goes to show too, both about your personal perspective and golf as a huge life lesson in all sports things, I think, and business projects and creative projects, of figuring out how to stay calm and how to actually stay regulated enough to figure out both what you want and then figure out what the universe or whatever you want to call it wants for you.
Yep.
But I think you know full well that it changes your whole golf game to
Oh,
have
totally.
either, oh wow, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to practice hitting here versus like fuck everything.
It is
now what am I gonna
so
do? And this is
funny.
so annoying.
Because you have your analytical side, which wants to keep score,
And wants
and
to
wants
like
to
throw a temper
remember
tantrum.
everything, and punish you for the bad,
Yep.
and not reward yourself for the good, which makes you hate the game. And then you have the other side, the love side. I love being outdoors. I love being in nature. I love the camaraderie of meeting somebody that you never would often meet. Like that dude I played with, I wouldn't have met him if we didn't book the same tee time by accident, right?
Very sweet again.
And he was a totally cool guy, family man, couple kids, and we just had this awesome round. And if I never see the dude again, it's all good. But it was just this great round today, and that's golf is life. Golf is like life.
I've heard this from all the golfers, and I can see
They're both 4-letter words.
and even some letter overlap.
Yeah,
Even two of the letters.
yeah, totally.
That helps you see those two sides of yourself also,
Yeah,
and not fully resist, but also figure out which one you want to feed more. Like which one's going to help your golf game for the analytical side.
mm-hmm.
Focusing on that hyper analytical, overly critical doesn't help the golf game.
Golf again is a reflection of life. When I'm playing well, it's because I'm not thinking. I'm just enjoying. I'm grateful. I'm centered. I'm balanced. My breath is in and out. It's not composed. It's just the way it's supposed to flow again.
Flow state. People
And
say.
when I enjoy myself playing golf, I play really consistent golf. I'm never gonna say I'm good because I'm not Darren Jones, but
Why can't you say you're good?
I'm good
Not
at.
to be like armchair psychologist.
I'm good.
Is
No,
that
no,
what
no.
we're talking about? If
It
you don't say
depends
you're
because I
good-
just jumped into my analytical side. Because
Okay.
we're talking about once I bring up Darren Jones, golf becomes structured because he's that good at.
He's
this
a master
game.
golfer.
Yes.
What's up, Darren?
I joke with him and I say Darren Jones is a part-time store owner and a full-time golfer, and my job is to keep him as a part-time store owner and a full-time golfer because then that's when Darren Jones is at his best.
Ooh,
when
that's
he's-
cute, and that says a lot too.
Yeah.
Because that's him being his true nature to be
Yeah.
a full-time golfer.
I think he was supposed to be a professional golfer. I honestly do. He's that good at this game.
Mhm.
And when I play with him, I realize how normal my game is. But then I realize, you know what? I'm not him. He's not me. He doesn't have this plan, And my meander was overlapping during the game of golf or at the store or at the gym, but that's not my path, you know.
To be a professional.
No.
Because keeping that reminder, because obviously we're all human. If you're playing with someone
Yeah.
who's a professional, anybody's going to have their
Oh,
ego
yeah.
being like, oh gosh, like, this is how I look compared to
Yeah.
a literal professional.
Totally.
Then remembering the things you're a professional at.
Yeah. And it just comes down to opportunity, ability, availability, and consistency over time. It's just how much do you love doing something that you're willing to give up something else. And I don't have that because I like this.
It's real. To actually follow what your true passion is.
Yeah.
And do you think that happens naturally, like, over time? You know, when people say you make time for the things you want to make time for, that's part of it, that it shows what we're really passionate about and what we make time for.
I believe in seasons. Totally believe in seasons.
You mentioned earlier about, okay,
Yeah.
say more.
And just like when you grow plants, you have to appreciate the fact that they're not going to be flowering or producing all the time, and you have to consider that there's needs and wants during the times of non-productivity, which is called rest. If you don't let your plant rest and you try to make it pepper, it ain't gonna do it, and you ain't gonna win that battle. So why fight at all? Just understand, appreciate, acknowledge it, and take the time to care for the things that need to be cared for during the seasons of rest. Just like us, you know?
We are plants, or that meme that says humans are plants with more complicated emotions.
And you'll produce because you are rested, not the other way around. I need to
Very
rest
true.
because I'm burnt out from producing. No, that's a falling down lifestyle.
Yep, I did that for sure when I was a very anal pre-med and
Yeah.
working in labs and feeling like,
And I came out of an analytical field too, at the county.
yep, and just like constantly burnt out and constantly feeling like the norm is that rest is like this teeny little treat you have to punish the daylights out of yourself to, and then feeling guilty the whole time resting, and so not fully resting anyways,
Yeah.
or I could do this, I could do that,
Mm.
shouldn't I be doing this other thing?
Exactly. And spinning this back to no matter where I go, there I am. It's the same thing. You're at rest, you're there. You're at work, you're there.
Ooh, okay, yes, and do you think that's part of why rest is generally more uncomfortable for people? Because, at least for me, rest is a much clearer look at the wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm doing other things, I learn about myself and I learn about other people and I learn about the world. Then rest is that processing reflection time that it's like Shavasana being the hardest pose, to just be still.
And I think that if we don't acknowledge that rest is part of the day or part of the year or part of our life, then it feels like either a waste of time or time that can be filled with something productive, which cheats you out of true rest. So now you're running that downhill battle of produce, burnout, collapse, don't fully recover, jump back into the burnout, and you're just cycling down towards this
Utter
end
depression.
that has no happiness or joy because you're chasing something that doesn't truly align and may not truly matter at the end of the day, because all we're going to have are our memories, our relationships, how we feel or make other people feel, right? Like all the money in the world won't matter.
Nobody takes any money with them
No.
when they go. You don't get to take anything with you when you die.
No.
Why are you hoarding money?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's really real. Ooh, it's really, there's a lot in there.
There was
I'm
a
not sure
pause
where
for
to go.
dramatic effect moment
Yeah.
for sure. Dot, dot, dot in the parentheses.
There's a lot in there. I feel like too, when I've been overly burnt out and depleted, then it's also easier to be just disconnected from
Yeah.
myself, and even knowing that anyways, because I'm just focusing on what do I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
or just that I'm so exhausted but I shouldn't be exhausted, or whatever
Yeah.
thing. That the way I've gotten around this to the best of my current abilities, I still got a lot of learning to do here.
We all do.
We all always think, I'm glad you understand. The letting my analytical brain say that rest is productive,
Mhm.
and drilling that into my system as much as possible,
Yeah.
rather than like, oh, rest is needed too. Being like, no, this is not counterproductive. This is productive. Like, it is productive for the seed to have its time
Mhm.
under the soil. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Just repeating it for
Yeah.
learning. Repetition.
Repetition is retention.
Repetition is retention. Which is part of going to do different activities, I think, to then repeat about learning the thing and the craft, and also learning about ourselves once again.
Yeah.
Which I get that some of this is getting repetitive, but I think there's a repetition is retention, like you said, that I feel like I'm really glad you were open to do this podcast topic, because I think because it is both very simplistic and very vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I know that I can sort of push to a back burner and not be thinking about, or I'll not fully remember, and then there'll be some like really extremely good or bad life moment, and I'll be like, oh, this is
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at,
It's
or
in a
where
deep
they're
pocket
at, or
somewhere.
yeah, that kind of brings
Break
it.
glass when
Yeah,
it's the time.
oh, you got a bug.
It's the
You
mosquito.
got a mosquito on your cheek. You got it. It's like right on the landed right there.
It did.
It's
It
rude.
flew away.
Yes, yeah, I think you got it.
They don't normally get me because I do a lot of garlic.
Oh, and that keeps them away.
Oh, either that or I just don't stay still long enough for them to land, you know.
It's real. And now we're here, getting all
Yeah, I'm
philosophical.
centered and balanced. I played a great round of golf this morning, so chill.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to show too, I feel like part of why I find you someone who comes off very calm and balanced is because you're doing the things you actually want to do. You're golfing, you're making the Hawaiian chili pepper water, you're harvesting, you're making the ginger shots. And do you think people who do bad things are, for the people who aren't doing it out of economic dire survival, like stealing for food,
Yeah.
do you think that part of why people do bad things is because they're not doing these things that are really exciting for them and that they're truly passionate about?
I think a lot of it could be repetitive behavioral programming in addition to environmental circumstance, but at the same time, you know, I think it was Einstein. He said, if you can try to get a goldfish to climb a tree and it's going to feel stupid for the rest of its life. So in that harmonious analogy, people have to find a way to align. And it's hard because we're so conscious minded of, I gotta be here and I gotta be there and this by then.
Time.
Like
urgency.
we both came out of analytical jobs.
Urgency. Never be
So,
late ever.
Yeah, and the ironic thing about this is at that Darren store, Alive and Well, 340 Hana Highway, Calgary.
Shout out Alive and Well.
Yeah. I'm sort of like that guy. I'm like the timekeeper. I don't have a specific skill set. Like we have some really brilliant people that I work with and among, but I don't really possess those specific skills. So you know how they say, you want to be really good, just find people better than you and jump in the pool.
Like golfing with a professional.
So you can look like you're swimming when you're really leaning on their backs. And if you start drowning, you got professionals on that can pull your butt out of the water, right? So I do that at the store. And my role is basically to find these people and bring them together and then help them to reflect off of each other in a good way where they're not competing to become, but they can exist together and become whatever the group is. It's like a tribe, you know, and I try to keep it at 16 for a specific reason, because in tribes, once you have more than 16, you need 2 community leaders. When it's 16 or less, you can have 1.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I consciously try to hire only 16 people at one given time. Whether Darren is part of that group or not, I don't know if he's part of the 16 because he kind of floats outside of it, but there's another relationship there. So technically speaking, you know, he could be that extra body.
Like a Venn diagram, maybe, with like
Yeah.
Darren here golfing.
Yeah. And we all think about good thoughts when he's golfing. Of not landing in the water.
Putting out positive Darren
Yeah.
golf vibes. Just like he does for you when you're golfing.
I'm sure, yes, exactly.
That's interesting about the 16 people. I hadn't heard that specific number. Or maybe I've heard 16 tribes. Maybe that's what I'm getting confused with. But not
Some-
16
yeah,
people
it's-
in a tribe.
And I forget what book I read, so I can't really provide a reference, but
No need, all good. I would believe that there's definitely a capacity
Yeah.
where then it changes, where people are like, who do I
yeah.
go to? And also, you were saying about managing the whole group of figuring out everybody's strengths.
You're like reading the room the whole time, the whole day, because you're not only reading the room for your business, the customers, which is the real reason you have a business, if it's service, right, or hospitality. It's managing the energy between the people in the tribe to manage the energy of the people outside the tribe that are in your house.
Because that's the core of it.
Yeah. So if your tribe isn't happy, your customers are going to feel unhappiness, and the water's not going to have good memory.
Yeah, that too.
So when Darren and I met to align our journeys of us working together in his business, he asked me, he said, I want to bring good vibes and fun to the store, because he just came through the pandemic where nobody wanted to work, and he was working his butt off, him and a few other people. And me losing my career opportunity a couple blocks up the street, water flowed downhill to his door. A year and a half later, we started this working together to staff his business. And you know, I don't know if he's happy with the staff we have or if it's, you know, good enough, but I reflect more on the fact that I see the same people every day. The customers keep coming in. The parking lot is always full. It's standing room only in the cafe. We barely have enough people to help the people in the store. And, you know, we're trying to get away from just servicing our guests to providing hospitality, because if you see the same people every day, you have to have a good relationship. It's like an energy conductor, you know.
In a big way.
Yeah.
And it becomes my grandma would call them watering holes, like community watering
Mhm.
holes that I go in all the time or get specific
Yeah.
things, or if I'm going to this appointment and I'm passing that
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So we have the regulars, we got the visitors, we got the returning visitors, we got the returning regulars, we got the regulars' families, we got the visitors bringing new people. And, you know, we have social media, we have marketing, we have a lot of word of mouth advertising. But at the end of the day, it's just taking care of that first pebble in the pond, making sure every morning we get up, every day is a new season to me. My mantra is, don't worry about yesterday, it's yesterday, let's just focus on today. Today has its own troubles and worries, but also opportunities to succeed at providing great hospitality. You know, it's like, we want you to come into the store and take the store with you because of the way it made you feel. And when you left the store, you aligned with the people and the vision. And when you go out, you affect other people in the community and your family and at work, and the people that are leaving on the plane, and the people that kind of like that movie Outbreak, but in reverse, a positive outbreak. You know what I mean?
Outbreak of love and care.
Yeah.
Again, to the energy of water that you're.
Yep, like that.
Like just like that. Or then it goes and spreads.
They're alive. See?
I got too electrified by the excitement of. I think that's part of food, and especially medicinal foods, like in your business being so powerful, is that you're taking all of the energy, all of the intention, all of the stories about how it came to be, all of the specifics of those plants, like you said, when you harvest, and what you're thinking and feeling when you make it, and then taking it home with you. I sent one of these bottles to a friend in New York.
Oh, did you?
Who came on
See
the
how that
podcast,
works?
yeah, who loves spicy,
See how
and
that works?
she loves. It's fun getting to then
Oh yeah.
spread it around.
That's how this started.
Because people actually like the thing, which again goes to show that the power of you keeping peppers above dollars.
Yeah.
Well, still keeping dollars.
Peppers
is very
before profit.
real.
I should make a
There you
t-shirt.
go. Yes.
Peppers before profit.
Please do.
We shall see.
I'll do. You let me know.
See, I have a basic t-shirt design. I did
Okay.
t-shirts in 2020, 2021, 2022. I think we did another one, but I got so busy. Oh, that's when Darren scooped me up at the store, and then I had full-time plus full-time, and then the creative stuff just kind of went on the part-time.
That's a lot too full.
But I love designing for clothes and stuff.
cool.
Not designing clothes, but like logos. So we have a t-shirt design. I want to do hoodies.
Okay.
So if you got anybody that has a business in printing or iron-ons or embroidery. It has a good connection for like hoodies, stickers, that kind of thing. I'm looking for somebody, so hook it up.
Okay. Put out the word.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I'll help with the photo shoot if you want to take pictures for.
For sure.
Oh, cool. I could see all of those, like screen printing or like
Yeah.
embroidered peppers would be really cute.
Yep.
Did you make this logo? You said if you like logos or the
So
first one?
a lot of this is just like random images from the internet, but it's based on things that I want the people to feel when they see the design and what it represents to have the thing in the bottle. So obviously that one is a picture of a snake. And we launched it. If you look on the bottom, right above the words made in Maui, there's a date, 1/29/2024. That was Chinese New Year this year.
Cool. So it has the whole Chinese New Year juju in there.
So this bottle here was a recipe I had created for my son's mom. She gonna get mad if she ever watches because this was
Maybe
supposed to
input
be
that.
her exclusive flavor. Unfortunately, it got so popular I had to launch it in the store. But this was dedicated to the late great Kobe Bryant. I launched this particular chili pepper water the week of his passing, and we called it the Mamba because that was her recipe I designed for her. Her favorite basketball player was Kobe. It was the hottest pepper in the world at the time. And because a lot of the heat levels I put on here are based sort of around a Scoville unit, if you know what that is.
I've heard
Like how they
I've
measure
heard it.
capsaicin levels
Okay.
in peppers. So anyway, the hottest pepper in the world at the time was a Carolina Reaper, and it was between 1.8 million Scoville up to 2.2 million Scoville. So I rounded up to 24 because it was the hottest pepper in the world.
Whoa.
So Kobe, that was dedicated to Kobe Bryant. And then for the launch of the New Year, Chinese New Year 2025, Year of the Snake, we put a special picture of a, and I don't think this is a mamba. It looks more like a constrictor that's red. But you know when you go
I
on the
don't know the
internet, you
difference.
type in what you want and it turns out to be something else. So I think this is actually a red boa constrictor, but I typed in red mamba and that's the picture that popped up. So I used that. And we have the date of Chinese New Year, and it's called the 5 rings because each one of these bottles has the equivalent ingredients to this bottle here, but we added 5 Carolina Reapers per bottle. So if you look at it, you can just see
whoa.
all the peppers
Yeah.
floating in there. So this, it's the same recipe as this, just 10 times hotter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't realize that multiple ones were. So all of these were because of somebody in your life. That's really sweet.
They all have a story.
And the whole, even just the pepper
Yeah.
itself story.
So like this one was created, it's crafted for Darren's store, but the original story was there was a firefighter, Manukaina, who was a professional baseball player, and then he came home, became a firefighter, but he had high blood pressure. So he saw my stuff on Instagram, he ordered a bottle, and then he realized I put Hawaiian salt in this, and he can't do salt because he has high blood pressure. So he reached out to me because he wanted to take some kind of chili pepper water shot every day to help him better, but because this has salt, he couldn't do it. So he asked me to go in the flavor lab, is what I used to call it, and design him something as a health shot that he could take every day. So we did the organic apple cider vinegar, purified water, chili pepper, garlic and lime. No salt, no shoyu, none of that stuff. And he did it as a shot. So when I had the opportunity to introduce Darren at 11 Well, this product line, I thought what a perfect opportunity to launch this one, to have a healthy opportunity for people who like chili pepper water.
Or like a more specific health. Because I feel like they're
Yeah.
all healthy ones, but for people who
Yeah.
don't do salt or gluten
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Then that's smart to put the citrus
Yeah.
instead of the, like to still
And there's a whole
balance out the
story
whole-
behind why there's citrus in there too.
What's the story there?
So one day
It's
we
lemonade
had
lime?
we had a cookout back here,
Ooh.
and we were doing opihi and oyster on the grill. So I was telling my son back then, hey, go grab the bottle of Tabasco, grab me a lemon, bring the shoyu, and da 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 da. So we had all the ingredients on the table. I was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we just put everything in one bottle? And then I thought about it, and then at that moment, I had the idea to take my dad's chili pepper water bottle that was sitting in the fridge for,
probably a couple years unused at this point. And I thought, what if we put all the other stuff in that bottle and dump the Tabasco? And I haven't bought Tabasco since. Sorry, Tabasco, I love your stuff, but
It's not the same.
I want it to be the Hawaiian version of Tabasco. Like I said earlier, it's just a matter of if we're going to do it or not.
And you did. That feels like a literal commercial story. Like, you take your dad's home chili pepper, you take your Hawaiian father's Hawaiian chili pepper
No Hawaiian.
recipe.
He's not Hawaiian. He's Japanese.
He's your Japanese father.
Yeah, it's just Hawaiian chili pepper. Yeah.
In him growing it here,
Mm-hmm.
you take your Japanese father's
Mhm.
Hawaiian chili pepper recipe, and it's sitting there. Just the chilies are in your freezer and the whole thing.
Yep.
That's so cool. That does feel like a commercial though, to have the moment where you're like, oh, what if I take Dad's water and add these other flavors to it?
So it's sort of like opening a photo album every time I do a batch because I think about him. He's still alive. He's 86. He lives on the Big Island. Oh, and the funny thing is, these peppers all came from seedlings he gave me from his Hilo plant. So in I think it was either 2018 or 2019, I came back on the airplane with 7 little seedlings in a Ziploc bag. And I planted them in little pots in my front yard, and they were just sitting there for a year. They all looked unhealthy, like they were gonna die. The leaves were fine, but they kept shedding new shoots out. And so after a year, I decided I'm gonna redo a garden in the front. And I had moved their pots more into the sunshine, so I started taking care of them. Then they started growing. So that was 2019. Pandemic year, I built a garden here, and then I plopped them into the ground, and then they just went off. So for a year, they were like this. I put them in pots, they got a little bigger. I put them in the ground, they just went off.
That's crazy how many parts of all of the stories of this. And I wonder even for your dad on Big Island, making the water there, like that it was such a patience practice, and then all of a sudden a huge boom. But maybe that goes against what you're saying about nature and cycles, that is the natural flow.
So you have to hit your ball in the bunker, because if not, you're going to miss out on the greatest bunker shot you would have ever made. Just like every twist and turn in this little traveling path of life we have, it ended up to this conversation right now. With this unique plant that just happened to spring out of my garden by accident. Hopefully. If not, if it's a real thing again, hit her up and tell me what it is, because I'm curious.
We'll figure out before the next recording.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Well, it's because, a habanero, this is the stem of a habanero. This is the exact same texture of a bark of a habanero plant.
Okay.
But the way these peppers grow, they grow upwards like the Hawaiian chili. The peppers are shaped like the Hawaiian chili, but they're the same colors as the habanero. So that's why I'm thinking this gotta be some kind of cross.
Oh, that's what at first I thought that was the Hawaiian peppers that just hadn't turned.
Yeah, look
Maybe
at the color of the green ones. They're not green.
Oh yeah, these are so dark.
Yeah, and if you see an unripe habanero, they're exactly that color. So if you look at a habanero chili plant, the color scheme is exactly like this, but the style of plant is more like a Hawaiian chili.
So interesting.
Yeah. So because I didn't have the thing tested to see if it actually is a genuine crossbreed, I just made a lot of babies, so they're all sitting out here.
It feels so good to get to connect with the plant. Like all those cliches that are annoying for the reason of, like, you're so contagiously excited and peaceful talking about the whole thing and making me excited to go plant more herbs and just spreading that. It's true, it's real. And I think like the whole like go touch dirt joke is funny because it's true. It's funny because how do you feel after you go touch dirt?
Yeah.
Or the like having peppers grown here versus Tabasco with peppers grown somewhere else.
Or commercially, for profit.
Versus here in your home.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
So like, I grow rosemary, I do lavender, I do basil, I do tomatoes.
It all smells so good.
All kinds of herby things back here. But, so the next thing that's gonna come out, I'm gonna do a seasonal flavor. It's gonna be a green tomato, basil, Hawaiian chili water, and that's gonna launch at Pukalani Superette and probably Alive and Well.
Very cool.
Little hashed up, free plug for you, Megan. But yeah, it's, you know, and Thanksgiving I have this awesome flavor. It's a rosemary garlic chili pepper water. So again, it goes to when you walk into someone's home that's cooking a turkey in the oven and you smell that drippings. The memory of that is the flavor that it should create when you hit your taste buds. And because there isn't really a spicy thing for Thanksgiving, why not spice up your turkey and make it taste like a turkey that's just a little spicier?
Just a little spicier, or like you said too, just enhances the flavor of it.
Yeah. So rosemary and garlic, totally Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If you smell, like if I had a bottle right now, if I opened it, let you taste it, totally Thanksgiving. Christmas, I used to do a honey Dijon guava flavor because I used to love doing a honey Dijon guava glazed spiral ham.
Whoa.
So I thought, well, if I make a chili pepper water inspired by the flavor and the scent of this, I put in a bottle. January I was doing a New Year's one. So pandemic, I had all this time and all this creative juice, and whatever I grew, I said, I wonder if this would taste good with that. So the next batch that's going to come out soon is going to be the green tomato and basil.
So fun. So cool. And again, it's so inspiring. I'm like feeling so excited and more motivated to put more plants in the ground.
Yeah, you gotta let plants do their thing.
I feel like the more energy I give to plants, the better I feel. Like the more
energy they return.
It's true. Some of the best things that have happened to me have been, well, like weeding or doing some kind of plant caretaking.
You know, I'm pretty sure the way we charge the water in here can have a returning effect back to us. So like I feel the most at peace right here where we are right now. That's why I chose to ask you to come here and do it back here, because this is where I center myself every day. In the morning before the sun comes up, and at night before I go to bed. And it's just like this exchange, you know.
Being around so many plants, it's so peaceful. I get it. I'm so honored to get to be here to
Well, thank you.
come into the peace and to way more fun to record in person than virtually for sure, and also to get to be where you actually grow all the things.
And to know the answer behind the spinning black plates up there.
Those, yes. Which you want to share for people watching?
So originally they were supposed to deter birds and chickens because they're moving, but they ended up just entertaining the birds and the chickens, and I made peace with the fowl in the neighborhood, so they became target practice for my son and his brother.
Amazing. And a perfect full circle to starting with this and you not fighting the birds and then everything flourishing even more. So you're like, well, as they say, everybody eats.
Balance.
So exciting. I'm going to put all of Reid's information in the description box. You can find all of the things and get your Hawaiian chili pepper water and ginger shots, your firecrackers. I'm so excited we finally did this.
I know. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
It's been I was moving around a lot, wasn't podcasting for a bit, and then just all the crazy, so much life.
Yeah.
But as we're talking about in this whole thing, the lesson of, that's been one of my favorite parts of the podcast, and getting to learn a similar lesson you're talking about with trusting the flow and the timing of like, okay, my life got too crazy. Okay, your life got too crazy. We weren't supposed to then.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it passed me, the analytical side's like, that's stupid, fuck that. I'm like, that's true. I'm annoyed because it's not true.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen now.
I could hit perfect golf shots all day, but then it would be boring, right? Played 18, shot 18, what's the point? 118, that's when life gets exciting.
Infinite golf metaphors.
I'm just kidding, I'm not that bad.
You're playing with a professional, so you're getting good.
No,
Good skills
I played again by myself on Tuesday because I wanted to play golf, and I realized, wow, I really enjoy playing golf. I do. If you can do something by yourself, you must really enjoy it.
That
Yeah.
nobody's watching, or it's not for any whatever. It's true.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you can be really clear with yourself on what those things are that you genuinely enjoy, that's when you have that calm-centered, peaceful, here feeling, because there isn't all of that other.
So I rest. Golf is rest. It's active rest. It's when my brain turns off. I'm not around a whole lot of people. Like, I'm super introverted. I like resting at home by myself, but for some reason, always my opportunities of work is people. And I'm surrounded by energy of all kinds and all natures all day. So when I come here, I'm just hunker down and crawl back under the rock, and just chill out with my plants. But I think it's that seasonality of the day, right? And going back to the hunter-gatherer mentality is, I wake up today and my job is to provide and then rest. Get up tomorrow, provide and rest. And I may get provision early, I may get provision late, but my job is to see the day from sunset to sunrise to sunset. I'm not a vampire. Sunrise to sunset, and survive that or thrive in that one season called 24 hours. And that becomes life. One step at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah. How your day is, how your life is.
One
is
breath
true.
at a time.
Cliches are so annoying because they're true.
Yeah.
The more annoying,
They started
the more
with
accurate.
wisdom.
Yeah, the more annoying, the
They
more
started
wise.
in wisdom. Yeah,
It's really true.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you again for coming and sharing so much wisdom on the podcast.
Thank you for coming and sharing. It's been awesome.
So awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for being you. We did it.